Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear my voice loud and clear. Let me know in the box quickly so we'll begin our class. Okay, great. Anyway, I think some of you are not yet joined. Anyway, I'll begin the class, and if you're there, say hi or good morning. So anyway, I don't know where are you guys. Anyway, they'll join later. So we'll begin our class. So what we are going to do today, our class will be continue our class of PYQ explanation. We have already covered shift 1 of 2023 fully 100 question, and we are now in shift second, and for that we have already covered total 65 questions. Today we are continuing the class from question number 66, and we'll try to complete it today if possible. Otherwise we'll just leave it for tomorrow. And in the afternoon there will be paper 1 class, as many people liked it. Paper 1 class we are going to continue, and we'll try to cover unit 1. Already we are in the uh, we are in the paper 1. We have already covered models and theories of teaching there in paper 1, and today I think we'll be continuing with the same, and we'll try to finish unit 1 tomorrow itself. Today we'll also try to solve a couple of questions, at least 20 questions I was thinking about today in teaching aptitude. And the third class will be in criticism, as we know that 30 plus question comes from that field itself. So that is very important in the perspective of the exam, and also we have to pay really more attention to that field. So today we are going to continue our PYQ in this class. Remember that we will have as I promised, every class we begin with a story, right? We have already talked about, just give me a second. Okay, so as I said, story, right? We already I think 3 stories we have already covered. One was about Karthik, second was about Meera, and the third was about can you, if anyone was there yesterday, can you tell me the name? Of course, it's John. So we also talked about story of John. Today we are going to talk about a man named Vikash, and I'll tell you very good story about him. So Vikas, who had a burning desire to pursue PhD in humanities from a prestigious university with a scholarship. However, standing between him and his dream was what? The daunting task of qualifying net JRF exam. And Vikas already had attempted the exam couple of times before, but unfortunately he received it disappointed with low scores. With each failed attempt, his dream of earning a doctoral degree began to fade away. Now, it's not only the story of Vikas, but each and every individual who has dreamed to do PhD from very good university. Of course, they have their uh, uh, exams, their entrance exam, but most of aspirants like Vikas wants to have uh, scholarship as well, and they have dreamed to qualify net with JRF. So, as I said, Vikas started feeling disheartened. Vikas started questioning his abilities and contemplated giving up on his dream. But that's not all. But just when he was about to abandon his aspirations, a glimmer of hope appeared in the form of his friend. His friend had recently qualified for the NET JRF exam and attributed his success to analyzing previous year question paper. So, intrigued by his friend's advice, Vikas decided to give it a try. And as he has already uh, failed many a couple of times, he thought, let's try once more with his friend's advice. So Vikas decided to give it a try. He began meticulously solving PYQs, immersing himself in the question of their questions and their solutions. And you won't believe, to his surprise, he found himself growing increasingly interested in the process. So, as he delved deeper into the PYQ analysis, he started understanding the pattern, topics, and question formats that frequently appeared in the exam. So, with newfound enthusiasm and strategic approach, Vikas attempted the NET JRF exam once again, armed with the knowledge what he gained from solving PYQ. He navigated through the exam confidently, utilizing his insight to tackle each question effectively. So, months of diligent preparation culminated in a remarkable outcome. Vikas finally passed the exam, again with flying colors, securing a prestigious fellowship. So, the moral of the story is that success often lies in perseverance, adaptability, and willingness to explore new strategy. So Vikas's journey teaches us what? That even in the face of setback and self-doubt, it's crucial to seek guidance and leverage the resources available. So analyzing previous year question paper not only provided Vikas with valuable insight, but also reignited his passion and ultimately helped him achieve his dream. So if Vikas can achieve his dream, why not others? They can also uh, achieve their dream. So the story of Vikas serves as a reminder that with the right approach and a resilient mindset, one can overcome challenges and accomplish even the most ambitious goal. So tell me if you like the story, and with that we are going to hi Priya, good morning. I hope you like the story, and now we'll begin our class. So question number 66 is in your screen, and here again now we'll have 10 questions where we are going to match the work from to associated poet, author, pragmatist, whatever. So here you have to me set up my mouse. Okay, good. Rabindranath Tagore. Do you know what work he has written from the list second? Just guess. If you can guess right, it's good. And we know Parda, about the Parda poem, that is by Imtiaz Dharkar. So that is quite famous poem. That and of course another is Nishim Ezekiel, that we know. That will be for what Rabindranath Tagore must have. Anyway, one I know, that is Parda. So we'll just see the answer. Imtiaz Dharkar, Parda. Where is the one? So D is not there. Anyway, we'll just Parda, another poem, is written by Imtiaz Dharkar, and Myth and Imagery is by Nizig. Okay, these are the poems that all of these are poems, and Myth and Imagery in Nissim Ezekiel, The Unfinished Man. So The Secret of the Self is by philosophical poem by Muhammad Iqbal, a renowned poet, philosopher and politician. Little bit here there is a little bit doubt about it, because D1 is not there now in the option. So we have C1 Parda, and let me search who wrote the Parda and the other poem once more, because there is confusion here. That will clarify right now. Parda, another poem, is by of course it is by Imtiaz Dharkar. Okay, so I was correct. So D1 is not there anywhere option. So maybe in the option there is something wrong. You must have got extra marks for it. But anyway. Okay, D1, A, B, C. Okay, little bit typo mistake must be there. That's why we have. But anyway, the answer we know is, that's why we have the explanation to prove it. Everything is there. You don't have to worry about the option. You should know the explanation. So Myth and Imaginary is by Nishim Ezekiel, The Unfinished Man. It was taken from The Unfinished Man. So again, The Secret of the Self is by Muhammad Iqbal, who is a renowned poet and also philosopher, politician, and he's from Pakistan. And remember, it was published in 1915. And there is more explanation about it. If you want me to read, you can write. Otherwise, you can also read. You can just take a screenshot, or you can watch it later. Anyway, The Child is a poem by Rabindranath Tagore, and it is a part of his collection of poems called The Crescent Moon. And remember, it was published in 1913. So all of these must be new to you. The Child, you must have known that it was Rabindranath. Parda is kind of famous by Imtiaz Dharkar. So don't worry about this. I'll just edit it in new version. Anyway, it is already published. So this will be edited again. Anyway, so now question number 767 is in your screen, and you have again to tell me which one you know. Everybody must have known about Because I Could Not Stop for Death. Write in the comment box that you know that. Everybody know. So if you know only one, you can eliminate two. We are left with one. A, 3. And again we have We Are Going. We Are Going is also one of the important poem, and it is by Kath Walker. So that is no. We Are Going is poem by uh, Odgeru Nunukal. I don't know how to. And also it is by Kath Walker. So it is by Kath Walker, but remember one important thing, because once they have asked about the question, Kath Walker's original name is what? So it was Ode Ojeguru Nunukal. I don't know how to say it, but you should. So here are some of the explanation that we have, because I could not stop for that. Everybody knows it's by Emily Dickinson, and remember it is about, in the poem, she personifies death as a gentleman who takes the speaker on a carriage ride through various stages of life, and ultimately leading to the speaker's final resting place. And We Are Going is very famous poem by Kath Walker. We actually original name is Ojguru Nanukkal. So an Australian indigenous writer, activist and artist. And this ask in the shift one also that we have to match the a writer from the particular country. So Kath Walker was, I think, in itself this shift second they have asked, I think it was in somewhere 52 questions. You just have to read that explanation. For if you have the book, that's good, otherwise you can just go for the ebook also. So anyway, We Are Going is a poem by Kath Walker, and it reflects on the impact of European colonization on the Aboriginal people and their land, and express a sense of loss, displacement. One question can be asked as if Kath Walker is Australian indigenous writer. So we know here three things about Kath Walker. Kath Walker is from Australian and also indigenous, and original name is Ojero Nunuchal. I don't know, Nunuchal. Anyway, so this is what We Are Going. We Are Going is the poem by Kath Walker. Again, third is Woman to Man is by Judith Wright. Judith Wright is also Australian, and this poem was published in 1949. And this poem talks about intimacy and vulnerability of a woman as she reveals herself to a man, drawing parallel between the act of sexual intimacy and the creation of life itself. The last one is Banking Potatoes is a poem by Yusuf Komanyaka, and that explored the theme of labor and dignity of the soil. So these important poems are very important. That's why they are asking, and they have not only asked in that but previous exams also. So remember, they asked already twice about Australian poets, Judith Wright, Kath Walker, and also Patrick White. They have asked about it. In Patrick White, there was question about vivisector, so we had to find about which work was by Patrick White. And question number 68 is in your screen, and you have to find the which belongs to what. So these are kind of four temperament of or humor in ancient Greek and Roman medicine, and later in medieval and early modern European thought. Each temperament was associated with the particular fluid or color. So you have to find about it. So blood represent sanguine. We'll just see the answer. So blood represents sanguine, and Yellow bile represent this choleric. Phlegm represent phlegmatic. With the name we can just answer, and if there is only one like similar here, C to 1, so we could just mark this. So anyway, black bile, D, is what was the last one? Melancholy, right? Yeah. So this is question number. Now we have question number 69. In that, there is very important quote, and that you have to find from which plays are there. Everybody knows some are born great, others achieve greatness. Is from, everybody knows, is from who said this? And in Shakespeare, it was in Twelfth Night, right? So 1 of 4 is there in only one option, so you can easily select the answer. So some are born great and others achieve greatness is from Twelfth Night. And who said it? It was in William Shakespeare. And love looks not with the eyes but with the mind, and therefore is winged Cupid painted blind. So William Shakespeare, because how we can judge, when you read Midsummer Night, they mentioned about all the Cupid and all, right, in the drama. So in that way we can judge this quote can be from that, and it's kind of very famous. Ill deeds are doubled with an evil word. So that is different. The comedy of errors. So we are such a stuff as dream are made on, and our little life is rounded with sleep is by Shakespeare from The Tempest. Question number 70. We'll just move fast because we have only 1 hour, and we will try to finish all the shift. And remember to get your copy. You can place your order book, or otherwise you can go for ebooks, because exam is very near, and if you just wait for delivery you'll just lose like 6-7 days. So better you go for ebooks. Anyway, question number 70 is here. So list 1 says, and now we have to find these terms where it was taken from. I mean, from which theory it belongs. Always go psychoanalysis is the first one, and it can go with mirror stage. Isn't that easy to find out? And psychoanalytic mirror, so we can judge by that itself. And again we have other option like aporia, and aporia is very famous term in where in discourse. So aporia is famous in deconstruction, and that is A2. And then again we have escapes, and that refers to globalization. And mirror stage is psychoanalysis, and interpellation is this theory. Marxism has interpellation. So answer is here, and we have a little bit explanation. So aporia refers to deconstruction philosophical term for an impasse or contradiction in a text or discourse. So escapes refers to globalization, social, cultural, and ideology. Here a little bit spell mistake. Anyway, an ideological landscape that are constructed and represented in the media and literature. So again, I'm just going to reminding you the term. What is high culture, what is popular culture, and what is subaltern. These 3 categories are very important. So tell me, what is high culture? High culture refers to the society who are elite society or high class society. Example like some art group or some small association like literature and all, they belongs to high culture. I mean, they have their own society, like painters society is there. So these kinds of societies are high culture, and popular culture is culture for everybody, for mass people. So for everybody, like television, we newspaper and all, for the mass culture. So that is your popular, and subaltern is for the marginalized society, and that can be race or particular category of caste also. That can be like Dalit and other. So that is subaltern. Again, interpolation is very important term in Marxism, and that refers to a process by which individuals are formed as subject through their recognition and response to ideological norms and value. Mirror stage, we everybody know that it belongs to psychoanalytic theory, and psychoanalytic began with Sigmund Freud with id, id, superego. So there was id, ego, superego. So these terms are important. There is mirror stage, phallic stage, anal stage, and there is Oedipus complex, Electra complex, womb envy, penis envy. So these are very important terms in psychoanalytic theory, and that we are going to discuss in our 4 p.m. class, which will be on criticism and theory. And we'll begin with first we'll go chronological order. So in that way you will also remember the correct order of the criticism and theory. So question number 71 is on screen, and you have to find who wrote particular work or essays. So the pleasure of the text is very famous, and most of you would know that it is by Roland Barthes. So B is third, Roland Barthes. Only two option is there, so you can just easily eliminate, but for that you have to read really well about criticism and theory, and these are very important terms that you are definitely going to. So again, we are going to mark this as a certain that you are going to face this in your next exam as well. So the pleasure of the text is by Roland Barthes, and again the death of the author, Roland Barthes. Again, what other work he has written? He has written many things, and we have all of his work in our criticism and literary theory that you should not miss. So A, the political unconscious narrative as a symbolic, so socially symbolic act, and it is by Frederick Jameson. It is by Frederick Jameson. And the pleasure of the text, of course, is by Roland Barthes, and the straight mind and other essays is by Monty Whiting, and the last D, literary Darwinism, evolution, human nature and literature, and that is by Joseph Carroll. So these are very important work, but these can be very tricky, but if you know one or two option, you will just get extra something, like you will have 50% chance of getting correct, because the only two option has 3, so 1 and 4 has B3 correct. So in that way you will gain 50% that you might be correct or incorrect. So in that way we can just excuse me, just give me a minute. Meanwhile you can just read the explanation. So anyway, did you read the explanation? Great. Great, Priya. So 4 people are there, and Priya, Anjali, Ashish, I guess. So this is the explanation. Question number 72. 72 says, again it is a novel and you have to find the novelist. Everybody know that Half of a Yellow Sun is by, and The Famished Road is by Ben Okari. The Bride Price is Nadem Gordma, right? So anyway, Vidya is also here. Okay, Vidya is asking, we are able to separate or segregate 2, but finding 1 from 2 is difficult. That is true, but you might get 50% correct also. So go for what your first instinct, because sometime what happen, whatever you have studied before, and in the exam, the first instinct is always correct. When you go for second, and then you make yourself confused. So always go for your first response when you see the question, and then just then again you analyze it, and when you think the second might be correct, that kind of confusion, then you only. Otherwise, when you analyze and you find the answer, that is correct. But in case if it happens like that, go with your first instinct, and first instinct is always correct, like most of the time, because sometimes your brain automatically respond to the question, and when we think about too much, we get ourselves confused and we end up marking the wrong option. So here we are, now it is question number 72, and we have to, everybody know, The Famished Road is one of the famous novels by Ben Okari. And why it is very important, you should remember, because Ben Okari is the author who applies magical realism. That's why. Can you tell me other author who apply that magical realism in his work or in her work? Can you tell me? Write quickly in the comment box. So everybody know, one is Salman Rushdie, second is in Africa Ben Okari, and another one is Marcus Garcia Lorca also uses magical realism. So that's why this work is very important in that perspective. And again, The Bride Price is by Bucci Amchetta, and Half of a Yellow Sun, that everybody know, and it's very famous because it has won many awards also. It is by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and The Lying Days is by Nadine Gordimer. So remember this, we have explanation for it. Anjali says correct, it is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and of course Salman Rushdie, and again now we have Ben Okari. So this they can ask, so make sure you don't forget about Ben Okari. So anyway, The Famished Road is by Ben Okari and is a magical realism novel set in Nigeria. And The Bride Price is by Bucci Amchetta, and it explores the struggle of women in Nigeria. Did you notice one thing in that? Like three options, all are from Nigeria or something related to their struggle. Half of a Yellow Sun is by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and it is also about Biafran War. So remember, this work they have asked many times. That's why we have put Biafran War. Last time they asked about it, Half of a Yellow Sun, based on which struggle. So it was Biafran War. Options were like Dutch War, other war, and this, but it was Biafran War was the answer. So remember this. In that case, it's a very important, this novel. And The Lying Days by Nadine Gordimer, and it is a coming of age novel set in South Africa during apartheid era. Can you tell me, there is post apartheid also? She has a written work on post apartheid and the apartheid era. So remember The Bride Price, Buchi M. Cheta, about again, it is a struggles of a women in Nigeria. So that is our question number. Again 73, question number 73 is here. Again we have to match the following, and you have to find which one is written by which. So here the question is Toni Morrison, Salman Rushdie. Good Vidya, that's very good. So we have to Toni Morrison also wrote in magical realism according to her, and if it is correct we'll just verify it. Anyway, question number 73 is in your screen, and you have to find which one is written by who. So here Ratnabai is the first, a sketch of Bombay High Court. In that thing, no, you have to find something common into it, or something, if you know about the biographical thing, you will understand. Like Toru Dutt. Here Toru Dutt is actually, she was good in many languages. Remember, if you have read about Toru Dutt, she was good in French. She was writing poems in Spanish. She was writing poems in also in Sanskrit, French, and all these. So she was like crazy about languages. So we can just go with one, that Toru Dutt will be because she knew Spanish, French, also other languages. So in that way we can just guess with, if D3 is anywhere, D3 is in two place again, we can just mark this to eliminate first and then check for the second. The Hindu Wife and the Enchanted Fruit, Kamla, A Story of Hindu Life, and Bianca we already got. So Ratnabai another. In that way, if you know the answer about Ratnabai, so you will get correct. So there will be no confusion, because here it says C is one, again the correct. In that way we'll know, okay, C first is. So Kamala, A Story of Hindu, is by Kurupabai Sathinandan. So that here is the same, right? Now we have confusion with here, either A Kafour or it will be 2. So in that way now we have to find the Hindu Wife, or the first we'll just Ratnabai, A Sketch of Bombay. So it is actually by Nikambe. So Sevanti by Nikambe, and it must be, if it is I think it is Marathian name, right? Ashish might tell. So Nikambe. So Nikambe wrote. So we can just go with the first, and we have the explanation. And remember, these work you have to memorize, or at least know about that, these authors. So if you knew one, you would have answered the questions like the Toru Dutt, the Bianca, the young Spanish maiden. So that's why biographical knowledge, little bit about the background of the poet or author or dramatist, might help you to identify the answer. So Ratnabai sketch of Bombay High Caste Hindu young wife is by Nikambe and published in 1906, and it is autobiographical account of a young Hindu woman's life and struggle in Bombay. So with the Bombay we can understand she is Marathi, Nikambe, and I think so Hindu Wife and the Enchanted Fruit is by Raj Lakshmi. They are something new, right? These poet are here, not very new, but because that Raj Lakshmi Devi is from somewhere around 1879. So it was published in 1879. The novel tells the story of a young Hindu woman named Kamala who is married to an older sister. So these two are talking about women, and again this one Kamala, with the name we can understand it is also talking about a woman. So these are all interrelated to each other. So this is a novel, all of them are novel here. This is a novel written by Kurupa Bai Santina Nathan and published in 1894. Bianca, we know, everybody I think should know about Toru Dutt biographical background, and that is she has written Bianca. And question number 74 is in your screen, and you have to find again match from the particular author to particular work. Again it's kind of new, right? It can make you a little bit nervous because these are all new work. And Richard Wright, we know, is always, if you have read about Richard Wright, he always talks about slave and other things, right? So, and he belongs to America. Early slave narrative, you can say it is Richard Wright. So Richard Wright, if you know little bit background about Richard Wright, you might get the answer, because he's American, we know, and he's a slave narrative, you know, he might talk about American hunger. So in that way you can judge and check if A3 is any other place. So A3 is only again two places that again you'll get confused, but keep it in that mind that we have to find the others also. So 2 we can eliminate, we are left with 1 and 2. Answer is of course 1, but we are just trying to understand the question. Toni Morrison, and Toni Morrison, little bit about Toni Morrison, if you know that she's a Canadian, and you know much of her work are based on some time in you can say post-apocalyptic or some kind of future realistic, these kind of work she has written. And she has written also about the struggle, about a woman and all, so can be anything. And so with that we know the answer is a mercy, but we have to leave it for later because we need to understand the other options as well. So Barbara Chase Ribbon is written what? Answer says we don't know anything about it. So you have to go with the we have 2 options. If you know the other option, that will be easy. Otherwise you can just increase your chance by eliminating these 2 points. So American Hunger is semi-autobiography by Richard Wright and published posthumously in 1977, and the book is a continuation of Wright's autobiography of Black Boy and focus on his experience in North, including his involvement with Communist Party and his disillusionment with the party's holding of race relation. A Mercy is actually a novel by Toni Morrison published in 2008. Barbara Chase Ribbon wrote the historical novel Sally Heming, and Octavia Butler is the author of Kindred. So now they are asking about new authors and their work. Not quite new, it is 1980s, 70s. So that we have to know. The last question in the match the following is again. So you have to. These are very important author because every time they are asking from all of the VK Gokak, like certain they are going to ask again because they have asked in shift 1 and previously 2022 2021. So and also MK Naik and Srinivas Iyengar, that most of you already know about the work. So that we have to find. VK Gokak is very quite famous and you're gonna face him so many times. I mean, while you prepare for Indian writing in English now, you will find about him. So VK Gokak actually wrote India, English in India, its present and future. And everybody knows that Iyengar sir wrote what? The Indian contribution of to English literature. So that with that, so this you might find easy, but with the same related subject, they'll create confusion, and in that way you can answer. And MK Nayak again, very famous for his book called The History of Indian English Literature, and that book I think most of you should have if you really starting your journey in Indian English literature. And I'm also writing a book on history of Indian English literature. It has not only literature, but we are also covering Dalit literature and other things in that book. Already half of it done, and it is all based on all four work. So you don't have to buy all four work, you only have to get our book, and this all will be there. Not only that, but all the important books that are related with Indian writing in English that we have covered, and special references that we have also given PhD topics to select from in the book itself. So these works are very important, and we have a little bit explanation about it here. So MK Nayak wrote very famous book, A History of Indian English Literature. Again, we know VK Gokak, that he wrote English in India, its present and future. Very important. These two work you are going to face in many upcoming exams. So David Mackinson wrote Indian Writing in English, critical essay, and Iyengar sir wrote the Indian contribution to English literature. So now we are done with match of the following, and if you have any doubt or anything, you can just write talk about. Okay, so seems Vidya knew about Kindred, that it is by Octavia Butler. She must have read it. Anyway, Vidya, tell me if you have any more doubt. We can just move to the next question, and I'll give you like 5 minutes. 5 minute break. 5 minute, no, 1 minute maximum. So you can meanwhile ask me anything in the comment box, whoever is there. Okay, we should do like 10 more 30 more minutes, and we have to finish 24 questions. And now it's all about your history knowledge about English literature. All will be in chronological order that you have to find the answer. And remember, these is like if you know about one work, no, you will get all the answer, like correct answer. And in that way you will now will have 10 questions on your knowledge of history about literature and their work, all the chronological order, and 10 question is there. So for if you know only one in each work, you will find like all 10 question correctly, and this is the easiest part in your exam. And I want you not to miss a single one. You have to correct 10 question in the exam. So let's move, and we'll just begin. Okay, so tell me, the answer is already there, but we are not looking, we are just moving through our judgment first, and then we'll move. Remember that one work you have to remember, and the tower is actually by Yeats, so it cannot be the early. And we know that the Wild Swans Are Cool is also by W.B. Yeats, and it is also not, it won't come before that. We have to find the first one, and Whitsun Wedding is by Philip Larkin, and it cannot be earlier. And again, The Hind and the Pather is by Dryden, and Mac Flecknoe is also by Dryden. And now you have to know that about little bit about John Dryden. Remember, John Dryden at the end of his life, what he did is he converted himself right into different. He became Catholic at the end, and for that he has written a work called The Hind and the Pather, and that was his kind of the last work. And Mac Flecknoe, in the other hand, it is kind of in the middle work. So Mac Flecknoe we can just put in the beginning, and then Hind and the Pather, again it is by Dryden, but remember that it was at the end of his literary career. So at that time we can just marvel D and P is the correct. And again, now you will have confusion. The Philip Larkin, who was also like at the after it come after W.B. Yeats always. So the tower is the earliest work of actually it is not the earliest work is The Wild Swans Are Cool. So we can just find the answer with through that. Where is DB first? DB is only in even one option. If you know only one thing, you'll just correct it. So easily you can just correct the fourth one. In that way you can answer the question really correctly if you just know one or two work in the correct chronological order. So here is the explanation. We have Mac Flecknoe by Dryden, which was published in 1682. The Hind and the Pather, as I said, at the end of his literary career, so it was 1687. And The Tower by W.B. Yeats, actually this should be up. So the Wild Swan at a Cool, 1919, and The Tower by W.B. Yeats, 1928. And at the end, The Whitsun Wedding, Philip Larkin in 1964. Again, question number 77, you have to know only one or two author, and you'll correct. Tell me here, it is asking about by their birth. According to birth, who came first? So we know about Philip Sidney first and Edmund Spenser. There you'll create a little bit, there will be confusion, but others are after that itself. So Edmund Spenser was actually little bit like 1 or 2 years before birth. So here there will be confusion. So Edmund Spencer is the first. This is the close one, but we know that Edmund Spencer came before Sydney. And where is the answer B? Only in one option. In that way you just click, and it won't even take so much time to understand, right? And at the end, and if you don't know the first one, you should go to the last. So who was the last one? It was Oliver Goldsmith. And Goldsmith, we know, it's very far. So which one? Here is it in two option. So in that way you can also eliminate these two. You're left with two. And if you know the Edmund Spencer birth was before Philip Sidney, you will just mark the correct. So that is all. And we have here in the explanation their lifespan. Spencer 1552 1553, somewhere between that, and he died in 1599. And the code you can remember: Edmund Philip Sidney, or you can say Philip Sidney came after Edmund Spencer and died before Spencer also. And George Herbert 1593 1633, and John Dryden, both at the same time. Actually it should be before that, and that is the Oliver Goldsmith at the end. Again, now we have to find the chronological order of the publication of the. If you know one, you might get the answer correctly. So here we are talking about the order of the publication. So tell me which can be the first. Macaulay's Minute is somewhere around. Macaulay's essay on Milton was far. It is somewhere around after like 1840 and 50, because that time Macaulay's Minute was published, remember? So that will be somewhere. And everybody knows that the publication of Darwin's Evolution is 1859 1858 59. So 1859 we know, and we know that Macaulay's Minute and Milton, essay on Milton, was published somewhere maybe early. But before that, everybody know that Browning was the first one, and Arnold is the 20th century work, after 1900. So E should be at the end. So E in every option we can only eliminate one, and here we know that Browning is after Romanticism, right? So, and Darwin is 1859, and Macaulay's essay on Minute, that we don't know what it could be. But first we know is that Browning pollen came first. One we know, and here is only one option. And D, sorry, here there is confusion. If Browning's, it says B, Macaulay's essay on Milton came first. And I'll just check it out one more time, the dates, because as I know, Browning, anyone know? If you know, just tell me. Browning's lifespan is one. Robert Browning. 1812 to 1889. That is the lifespan of Browning. And Macaulay's Minute, sorry, essay on Milton है ना इधर. 1895. So it was 1895. There is a little bit confusion here. Here is the order in the explanation we have. Browning's Pollen 1833, Darwin or Origin of a Species 1815. These are the same date. Here you might get confused, but if you know the answer, B says Macaulay is here. Answer is B, but it should be this one. Not this one, because both are the same date, right? 1859 and the others are there. Anyway, so we have the explanation. You can just verify it by checking once again. So question number 79 is here. Now again you have to find out about the years arranged in chronological order by their years of birth, and here you have to again you have to only guess once which can be correct. Only one option you should know. William Makepeace Thackeray and Richard Dodge Blackmore and James M. Barrie is the early right now contemporary kind of. So it should be at the end. And where is at the end? Only two option again. And we have to now find out the Jane Austen. And we remember that Jane Austen is in after 1800 and Henry Fielding before that. So it should before A, B should come. And where is? In only one option is there, right? So we can just simply mark this. That's how you can judge. And in the explanation we have Henry Fielding 1709 birth, Jane Austen 1775, William Makepeace Thackeray 1811, Richard Blackmore 1825, and James M. Barrie is 1860. So 10 questions you come from these kind of chronological order. Again we have to find out again the order of the work who belong to terms of the period they belong to. So now they are asking about the period, and we know that Bacon came before Dryden. So we just put D. Where is D? Only in one option. We can just mark it correctly. That's how you should do, and it is very easy to find the answer. And again here is the date: Francis Bacon 1561. Then again Dryden came 1631, Richard Steele 1672, and Charles Lamb 1775, Matthew Arnold 1822. Question number 81 is here, and again chronological order of the publication. And we know, everybody should know, that Raj Mohan's Wife is the first novel in Indian writing in English. So we can just move where is A. In every option there is a. Now you can get A Bend in the Ganges should be at the somewhere around at the end. And we have one Distant Drum also. It's recent work. I mean, of course, the like contemporary work. So we have not contemporary in fact, but somewhere related around 1970s or 75, that Distant Drum, and it is by Manohar Molgankar. And A Bend in the Ganges is again by Manohar Molgankar, and it is published in 1664. We have the explanation. With that we can just answer. Raj Mohan Rai, everybody know, it is by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, and it is the first novel in Indian English writing which was published in 1864. Untouchable is by Mulk Raj Anand and Raja Rao Kanthapura. They are all very close. So in that this option you might find the answer, but if you know that Distant Drum is the recent work, I mean later work from of this list, from this list, it is answer is here, sorry, for that one. E is the answer. Question number 82 is in your screen, and for 82 you should uh, add, because it's very easy, and I want you to answer this in your comment box. In the comment, please write this. Write in the comment box, what do you think? The correct. It's very easy. It's about Charles Dickens, and everybody know is the order of the work. And if you don't know, you can just okay. Everybody know that Pickwick Paper is the first work of Charles Dickens. So where is Pickwick Paper? And it is in C should be first. Only one option is there. It, and the why it is dropped. And we know the last work of Charles Dickens is Our Mutual Friend, right? Our Mutual Friend is the last one, but here there is no option for that. So for that we can the explanation here we have, because the drop, because option is not correct here, that's why it is dropped. And we have the order. The Pickwick Paper, you should remember, it is the first, and then came Oliver Twist, then came Nicholas Nickleby, then came The Old Curiosity Shop, Barnaby Rudge, Martin Chuzzlewit, and Dombey and Son, David Copperfield, Bleak House, Hard Times, Little Dorrit. A Tale of the Two Cities, the kind of at the end of his literary career, and Great Expectation was his masterpiece, and Our Mutual Friend, 1864. 83, we have to again publication of the work. You should remember which comes phase, and we know that Pepys Diaries is somewhere around 1660s, right? And Hobbes' Leviathan, Boswell Life of Journey is after 16th century. It is in 18th century. So it must be after that. And Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress, again 17th century. And Pepys' Diary is 17th century. And Locke's Human Understanding. So first is Leviathan, because it is early 17th century work. We can just know the answer, because it was somewhere. Leviathan is very important work, and Hobbes' Leviathan means that monarchy is everything, and he defended the monarchy, and he says that to civilize people or society, there should be a king, and he mentioned king as Leviathan, and who should be praised as a god. So in that, Thomas Hobbes talked about Leviathan. And Boswell, the second, we can just put Pepys' Diary, which was in 60s to 66. So if you know the first one, where is B, only one place, we can just answer. And here the Bunyan's Pilgrim Progress published in, here the order is not in correct order here. You should know 51 came Leviathan, and then came Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress, and then second is Pepe's Diary. And remember one more about Pepe's Diaries, that he has mentioned covered from 1660 to 1666, and there he has mentioned the Great Fire of London, and also he has mentioned Great Plague, and of course the Fire of London, and also the about monarchy. I mean, there was what do you call Charles, I think Charles II or something. Anyway, so these are the order here, and we have the explanation and also the dates. Question number 84, we are only left with 2 questions in chronological order. Again, you have to find the publication of the work, and this will make you a little bit confused with the option here, because they are a little close also. And the course of linguistic, you should always understand that it really came the first, because he started the discourse in linguistic and all from the very beginning in criticism. So course in linguistic, where is it? Only in one option we can just put the answer. The implied reader should be it is actually by Wolfgang Iser, and we have the explanation. First is course of linguistic, which was 1916. The implied reader is by 1972. The pleasure of the text by Roland Barthes, 1973, and structuralist poetic by Jonathan Cullen, 1975. The pursuit of science is by Jonathan Cullen. These are very important work that we have discussed, that we are going to discuss in criticism part. Anyway, now 10 question will be, actually 5 question will be in assertion and reason. Only 15 question are left, and we'll try to complete in this class itself, so we can begin next from our 2022 exam PYQ from tomorrow. So anyway, question number 85 is in your screen, and there are again 2 statements will be there. One will be assertion and another reason. You have to find which one is correct, and also you have to find if the correct explanation reason is the correct explanation of the assertion. So there is an option: from a socio-linguistic point of view, mainstream SLA studies remain studies remain the social import of learning to interact through language remains hidden, and the reason is given here. The socio-linguistic perspective focus on the linguistic system as well as on a concern with specific items of pragmatic and discourse development, and reject the tendency of looking at language as a set of norms, at language diversity and ideology. Remember these 2 statements, you have to really focus, and now they are talking about linguistic and language. So 3 questions before they have we have discussed on language and linguistic, and here again we come across with the same kind of question. So here the answer is A is correct but R is not correct, and why? We have the explanation. Both the statement made in assertion A expresses socio-linguistic critique of mainstream SLA studies for neglecting the social significance. Anyway, this you can read, we don't have to, because it is all depends on the knowledge and the judgment of yours. Anyway, given Billy again, the 2 statements are there. In extensive reading, the teacher plays the main role, and reason is the aim of extensive reading is to enrich learners' knowledge. So in light of the above statement, we have to find the A is not correct, because in extensive reading the teachers play the main role. Is it? No. The reason, the aim of extensive reading is to enrich learners' knowledge. And why? Because claims that teacher play the primary role in contrast, reasons suggest that the goal of extensive reading is to enrich learners' knowledge. However, these two statements are not directly related because it is not clear how reason serves as an explanation for it. Furthermore, it is not entirely accurate to state that teachers play the primary role, as the learner themselves play a crucial role in selecting. So here teacher is not the does not play the important role in extensive reading because it is a student who plays, and that actually helps to enrich the knowledge and learners knowledge. And 87, again two statements, and it is asking about anagnesis in the final part of drama. There is it talking about anagnosis or anagnesis? Okay. So anagnesis is the final part of the drama just after the climax, in which we'll just read it as anagnosis because that is the correct term, and conflict left in the plot and is a turning point of the play. Actually, these both are false. It is the other one, is not commonly used on and top specific. It was actually anagnosis, right? So therefore the correct answer is 2. Both statements are false. Given below are two statements again. It is true that that there is an analogy between the works of an author and experience of his life. Again, we have to read carefully. It is true that there is an analogy between the works of an author and the experience of his life. Statement second, the works may be seen as an incomplete translation of life. And both the statements are true. And why? While it is possible for author to create fictional work that are not directly based on their own life, it can be. So this is question number 89. Things require a rational signification and not only one of simple uses, because an other is associated with my relations with them. And in depicting, designing a thing, this is quite a different kind of question. In the explanation, we'll understand both the statement are true. Explanation is also there. Anyway, you can just read it in your book. These are the statement based. We also have explained it. We'll just move to the, we have already completed, and if you want to leave the class, you can leave, or otherwise let's finish. Anyway, these all are there in your question in your Google Classroom. There you can just go and solve these problems. And also at the end of the exam, you will also get the explanation where you can read it collectively, or you can also take a screenshot of the all the work, all the explanation that we have. Here, the poet and his father show back the furniture. Here is the poem, and they are asking about the poet and his father show back the furniture to what? To play a game, or sleep well, or to create a space for more furniture, to lie down, to contemplate. And it is to play a game. We can just know the poem Are You There by Andrew Motion, and in the first line he's talking about, so if we read, it is to play a game. So here is the explanation. This you have to read on your own. Question number 92. Moriarty is the name of the who? The poet, the poet's dog, a game played by two or more blindfolded person. It was the poet. Explanation is there. 93. Which of the following statements is true? The poet imagined that his father tightens his grip on the rolled up a copy of Times. It is all there, and in the explanation is there. So we have completely, again we have the reading comprehension. That two field we can leave for you to answer. So you can just go to the classroom and attend this, and at the end of the each and every PYQ you will get the explanation that you can take a screenshot. So today that's all. It was quite tiring, right? Boring also. But in the beginning of the class, we have already um, we took one story, and that's how we started the class. And now we have finished our shift second of 2023. Tomorrow we'll just go move to the 2022 shift 1. So be there 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the morning the class will be starting. Maybe 10 to 5 to 10 minutes there will be some delay, but we will continue this PYQ. And remember to join paper 1 today around 2 p.m. and there we'll continue our class. And in the evening we'll try to, at 4 o'clock we'll try to discuss criticism and literary part also. So be there. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you so much for saying that. I felt like I didn't give 100% today. I mean, I don't know why, because some of the options are a little was confusing for me too. But from tomorrow the class will be good, and of course paper 1 will be interesting always, because in paper 1 I did also so many preparation. I also prepared good notes for it. So be there. Thank you, Priya, and we'll see you at 2 o'clock. Be there, and we'll try to cover like half of teaching aptitude at least, and tomorrow we'll finish off of our teaching aptitude unit 1. So be there. The link will be shared in your group, and remember to complete this PYQ in your Google Classroom, so you will get these all explanation, and that you can take a screenshot, or whatever the explanation you need, you can take a screenshot. Otherwise, whenever you come back to the Google Classroom, the explanation will be there. You don't have to attend again and again. So make sure you attend the PYQ. Mock test I'm preparing, because I will only post mock test with 100 questions, because I have already collected like 10 mock test made, but like 10-20 questions I have to add more. So for that's why I'm taking time, and meanwhile you can just do PYQ, and tomorrow we are going to again continue with PYQ 2022. So thank you so much. Have a great day.